Sometimes doing these recordings kind of feels like therapy. So yeah, I'm gonna treat it like that. I've had like a weird slew of emotions over the past like 2 or 3 hours. I was supposed to do book club tonight, didn't do that because no one else could meet, so I had gone to Whole Foods, and it was again like convenient, so I just like got a box of food off the hot bar and had that for dinner. And you know, I have food in my car and should be eating that, but convenience, and then obviously wanting to demonstrate for myself that I can continue going to a place like that, because I think subconsciously it's really important to me, because I think I'm really, the more I think about it, and the more like these thoughts keep popping into my mind, I really do think I'm afraid of losing social status, and by way of losing social status, losing my humanity, because I've talked about this in a couple Substack audio notes, maybe here on YouTube, I don't remember, but it's interesting, the different ways like we treat each other in like our socioeconomic system. We strive to be more like the people who we see above us, and we admire them and we look up to them. Like, that's why the keeping up with the Joneses, you know, mindset is a thing, because we want to be them. But at the same time, there's a counterbalance to that where we don't want to be lesser people. We don't want to be in the socioeconomic class beneath us. So we channel like energy of animosity towards people who are beneath us. And you know, I think consciously we're all like, yeah, equality, we all love each other, blah blah blah. But I think in reality, especially in our consumer behavior, right, just follow the money and you'll always see like where your priorities are and what you think. You know, just follow the money and you'll see like maybe that's not actually true. Maybe, you know, there's other reasons why you do what you do, and it's because it's an indirect way of disengaging with people who are beneath you. So I'm definitely, now that I'm cognizant of this like thought and like consciously aware of it, I think it is definitely true, and I think it's impacting how I view jobs and like the job search. So I was at Whole Foods and I like stumbled on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always a source of disdain for me. I need to not go on LinkedIn all the time. But anyways, I found a job, a recommended job for like a crypto newsletter writer, which is, you know, I've done stuff like that, so it would be like perfect for me. So I applied and then like was looking at other jobs, and I get really frustrated with jobs and the whole process of applying to jobs, because it isn't an egalitarian system. It isn't a meritocracy, right? Like, for example, blockchain. Blockchain is a new technology. It was invented with Satoshi Nakamoto with blockchain, yeah. In like what, 2008, 2009? Okay, like I didn't first learn about what Bitcoin was until 2013, and obviously didn't take it seriously. And most people are in the same boat. Most people had never heard of blockchain, Bitcoin, DeFi, you know, Web3 until maybe a year or two ago, right? So like the tech nerds and the early adopters have known about this, but the rest of us have not. So it's interesting to me, like, looking at job application, or, you know, job descriptions, and it's like, you need 8+ years of experience with blockchain. Well, the majority of the people don't have 8+ years of experience with blockchain, because for the vast majority of people, like, it hasn't been around for them for 8 years. And the people who do have 8+ years experience are not going to be working for you. They're going to be doing their own thing or making buco bucks somewhere else because they can. And it frustrates me, because it's not even just like being able to code does not necessarily, it's not like a one-to-one transfer like for technology. Like, you can do, like, technical tasks, and sure, like, if you understand Python, then you can, like, understand Solidity and, like, start writing smart contracts and stuff. But I, personally, and I'm biased, I think there's, like, a strategic mindset that goes into it, and, like, how do you adopt this technology? What are the protocols? What are the parameters of the protocols, right? Like, I don't think someone with a STEM degree who doesn't have critical thinking, and I know someone's gonna, like, counteract me on that, but I will fight you. STEM degrees don't always, what do I want to say? STEM degrees lead to an atrophy in critical thinking skills, right? Like, you're not reading texts, like Plato, and, you're not, like, reading, literature and, like, having to debate it and dissect it and discuss it. Like, you're studying things, memorizing them, and regurgitating. Like, that's what a lot of the STEM fields do. Science, your medicine and engineering, and, like, there is some thinking to it. And I don't want to, like, please don't take that the wrong way, but it's not like, there's a reason why Steve Jobs was Steve Jobs. Like, and there's a reason why he didn't have a STEM background. Like, the man took a calligraphy class under the table and conceptualized typography for the original Mac. Like, he just could not have done that kind of creative thinking with a STEM degree. That's all I'm saying. So, like, sure, for some stuff in, like, the blockchain crypto world, yeah, like, there is a one-to-one transfer of the skill, but, like, in other ways there's not. And maybe I'm searching wrong. I don't know. But I get really frustrated when I see, like, must have, like, 8 to 10 years of experience on blockchain, when, like, none of us have 8 to 10 years experience on blockchain, right? Like, look for some other skill set that's, like, relative and maybe, like, a softer science or qualitative, and then, like, go from there. So that's, like, one gripe. Another is, like, depending on which job, like, you're applying to, I've noticed this, maybe you have too, like, it's, like, prefers Big 4 or Big 3 consulting experience. And it's, like, I feel like that in and of itself has become, like, a new barrier to entry, kind of like having a bachelor's degree. Is, like, it's one we don't talk about, but it's for sure there. Like, if I had KPMG or Deloitte or Bain on my resume, like, I would have no problem getting a job. And now that I look back, I worked for Booz Allen for a period of time, and almost every job I've had, like, that's the first thing the recruiters and the interviewers ask me about, is my experience at Booz Allen. That was my least favorite job. So it's just, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I go down these, like, emotional rabbit holes where I start, like, applying to jobs because, like, I'm very anxious about the future because I can't visualize it. And, like, I don't have control over it. And so applying to jobs feels like a way I can, like, control my situation, even though I deep down know that I can't. And I know there's no meritocracy involved in here. And no one's going to look at my resume unless I have, like, the right keywords and the right, like, pedigree. And it's just, it's deeply frustrating to me because I want to do the work. I want to contribute. I want to learn. I want coworkers. I want, I miss the social aspect of having, like, a normal 9-to-5 job, if you will. So as much as I enjoy writing, and I think, like, that's the skill I'm really strong at, and, I like creating content. I like talking to myself on my phone and creating audio notes in my Substack. Like, that's been really fulfilling for me. Like, that is a good thing. I think that's a good outlet for me, but it can't be, like, the entire thing because there's other pieces I'm not getting. Like, I'm not getting the mentorship. I'm not getting, the social stimulation and interaction from my peer group. The challenges are less structured, so it's really hard for me to get feedback and, grow in a skill, under the supervision of someone who knows, the skill and is good at it and can, like, help guide me. So, I mean, there's definitely pros and cons. But it's hard it's hard for me because I feel like there's all these barriers to entry. I don't really know what I'm looking for in terms of like remote job employment, and like I know I need it. And like there's just this entire visualization component to it. Like I can't describe like succinctly what I want or what I think I could be like really good at, because like I just don't have that faculty within me. So it's something I need to practice. And you know, the way you practice it is by doing, right? It's like meditating. Like you don't just become good at meditating overnight. Like you have to practice it. Same with yoga. Like you have to practice. And so I have to practice like this process of desiring and thinking and wanting and visualizing to like move towards the place I want to go in life, and I'm supposed to go. But like I find it hard to do that because I don't have, like, there isn't a process for me to practice. There, you know, you can't just go, you know, job hopping's discouraged, right? Like even though I've done it and other people have done it too, like there's still those naysayers who are like, well, this looks really bad on your resume, right? So it's like we're incentivized to stay stuck, or like there's barriers to entry, which means like you never get to try. Like there are certain jobs like you know, in tech, for example, like, you know, I'm a strategic thinker, and you know, I think big picture. I'm like macro, and like I can apply a qualitative lens to things that should have a qualitative lens, where other people are just very quantitative and rote and, you know, STEM and that kind of thing. So I think I bring like a richness of perspective and experience and depth, but I will never get the opportunity to like do that and like provide that kind of value to a company like Google or Facebook or Amazon or Netflix or, you know, whatever big tech company, because I don't have like the right credentials, you know. And it's just, I don't know. I just see like all these 20-year-olds who are fresh out of college, who've walked into like 100K jobs at some of these companies, and they have no experience in life, and like they're being set up professionally, socially, and financially for success. And I don't know, maybe I'm just ranting, maybe, you know, maybe it's me, maybe like I just didn't have the right mindset, I don't know, but I'm just like frustrated because I want experience at all levels of this. I want the experience of interviewing, you know, applying to a job, and like knowing that a job I'm really excited about might come, like I might get in the pipeline, you know. And it is a numbers game, and I get that, but like numbers games don't pay the bills. I mean, it is what it is. So it's like, I feel like I'm a square peg pushing myself into a round hole, and I don't really fit, and I'm like trying to force myself to fit into like a world that I'm just not like made for. But then like, so like I, on the professional level, like I feel that, and then like socially, as I was kind of saying in the beginning, like I fear like losing my place in society. So it's like, on the one hand, if I don't get like the right job that I'm supposed to have, like I become less of a person, and I feel like I lose my existence, you know, like what little tiny existence I have, like I feel like I lose that. And so like there's this constant struggle between like what I should do and what I want to do, and like I can't seem to connect the dots, and it feels like there's just all these barriers to entry where like even I can't even do what I should do, you know. It's like a never ending battle, And it's like, I don't have the mind, like my mind is not wired in a way to like pursue the normal path. So like I can't search for the right job, I can't visualize it, and then like I come across like these barriers to entry, whether it's like I'm not qualified or like I don't have the right like Big Four firm experience. You know, and so there's all these like things that get in the way, and then I never get, you know, in the pipeline, I don't get the experience, and yada yada yada. So it's just like it's very discouraging. And if you've ever like been unemployed or like experienced that at any point in your life, like or like searching for a job or maybe moving from one career to another, like I'm sure you've probably felt that, where it's like super discouraging, and you know, it impacts you as a person, right? Because it feels like it's a reflection on you and your abilities. It's not a reflection on the structure of our workforce and our economy and technology, when in reality, like consciously I'm aware like all of this is a problem. We have a huge problem in how all of this is structured. Like I didn't design algorithmic HR hiring systems like all these tech companies did, and that's what they use. And you know, it's kind of like if you can't figure out how to go viral, it's the same skill. Like to go viral on like Instagram or TikTok, maybe not TikTok, but you know, YouTube. Like the virality concept for social media is literally the same for getting a job. Like you're using the same skill of selling an idea, a post, a resume, using keywords that are searchable, that an algorithm is going to decide and flag and show to either the HR person or like an audience. You know, it's literally the same concept. That's how this is designed. So, you know, I haven't really cracked the social media piece yet. So it's like, obviously I haven't cracked the hiring piece either. So it's like super frustrating for me. But yeah, I just feel like all of these different emotions, because like I'm not living in the present, of course. Like I'm constantly fearful of the future, and it's because I don't have a strong identity here in the present. Like I'm progressing towards a better version of me, I hope, and like she's not here yet, so like that better version of me like has the strength and confidence to succeed and overcome these limitations, whether they're real or imagined and perceived, right? But she's not here yet. Like I'm working towards her. So in the interim, it's like kind of messy, and it just doesn't sit well with me, and I get really stressed out, and yeah, I feel like super defeated a lot, and yeah, and it's just like I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know where to turn or how to get the right help, and I don't know that I can, right? It's like this is a deeply introspective process where I just kind of gotta go with the flow and do the work and learn the things I need to learn, and sometimes it takes a couple hours to learn the things, sometimes it takes years, so yeah, I think this is helpful because I'm starting to piece together why I'm so fearful of not being able to take care of myself, and why I'm so fearful of or like frustrated, I should say, about the job market, and like not being able to find a job, and like feeling that tension, and it's because I do see the world socioeconomically and hierarchically, and I think that is true financially, obviously, because we do see that manifest around us, but I also think it's true from my church upbringing, which I've talked about a little bit in the past. And one thing about my church community that I grew up in that has always bothered me and will continue to bother me to this day, is that there was like an internal social hierarchy of like the good Christianly people and like the lesser people, and my family unfortunately kind of sat in the lesser people group because My father did not attend church, so it was just my mother and us kids. And so, you know, the top hierarchy is like a mom, a dad, the kids. Dad probably serves as a deacon or in leadership. You know, mom plays piano or like sings in the choir kind of thing. They go Sunday school, Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Wednesday prayer. You know, they volunteer and, you know, give, you know, more than they need to in terms of tithes. Like there's definitely like the performative social hierarchy of like the church I was part of, and they'll tell you, oh, we accept everyone, but that's bullshit. They don't actually accept everyone. So like under that, there's like different levels of the hierarchy, but it's definitely it's felt like, you know, a church of like a couple hundred people shouldn't have cliques like a high school of like 1,000 people, you know, like everyone knows everyone, or they should. And you know, the church I went to is very like for me, like you know, an example of the hierarchy is you know, parents of kids in the youth group told their kids not to hang out with me because I went to public school. So I was ostracized because I went to public school, and most of the kids were either homeschooled and participated in like a Christian homeschool group, or went to the private Christian school. So like that was the hierarchy, right? It's like who your parents were, and then like where you went to school. It wasn't socioeconomically driven as much as like your performance and how you showed up in that like society. And so I wonder if that's why I feel the way I do about like losing my social status, because it is a construct, it is made up, and I know that, but I really can't get over this like innate feeling that like I'm going to become a lesser person and you know, lose a sense of who I am and acknowledgement of my personhood. And I wonder if it kind of circles back to my church upbringing. Because that was, you know, a core component of it, unspoken, but, you know, that was totally part of it. And, I mean, when you're 14, 15 years old, and, like, there's kids who aren't allowed to hang out with you because you go to a public school, and because you're smart, like, what kind of world is that? It's crazy. I had someone tell me that I was gonna go to hell because I read Harry Potter. It was a messed up church, guys, let me tell you. But yeah, it's the damage, you know, and how I see the world so rigidly. It's unfortunate, but it's where I'm at. So hopefully, once I get to like video 100 on here, I'll get rid of this mindset, and like it'll be fun to look back at some of these videos and see how far I've come. So I'm staying in a new location tonight, or I think other van and car people have stayed previously. I'm starting to like meet some other people in Asheville, like van people, and like some are cool, some are a little weird, a little too weird for me. Again, it goes back to like where I see myself and like that imagined hierarchy that's in my mind, and like I'm weird in the sense that I'm doing this, but I'm not like so far crunchy hippie that like I don't shower for days on end or like eat beans out of a can. You know, like that's just not me. And I might be a little judgmental here, but those people are, you know, you do you, but like yeah, it's just like kind of that a little bit of that crowd, and I'm just kind of like I need space. So I'm gonna car camp in a different location tonight just to give myself some space, and this is a little bit more strategically located to where I need to be in the mornings. So yeah, that's what I got. Welcome to the journey. This is what I have to process every single day. Who am I? Why am I here? How do I exist? When do I exist? Why do I exist? who do I exist for? Do I exist for anyone? What's the value I bring? Do I bring value? How can I show the value? Just all these questions that I just struggle to get answers to. And this one is like, there's a lot more layering to it. Like social hierarchies and constructs, and you know, how we perceive each other to exist and participate in the world, and jobs, and what those mean, and the value they ascribe to us as people. You know, are we lesser people because we don't all work at Bain or McKinsey? No. But you know, the job market makes it feel like we are. So yeah, okay, I'm wrapping it up. I need to encamp myself, and then probably read, and then go to bed. So do the things you do on this thing. If you've made it this far in my ranting, clearly you're interested in what I have to say. So like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends, your neighbor, your cousin you just discovered on 23andMe. And leave comments, please. Like, it helps me learn more about, like, the things I'm processing, and I would love other perspectives. Otherwise, I'm just, like, trapped here all the time, and I don't get any external perspectives. I just assume things through my subconscious, which we've already established is kind of messed up. So, thank you, and have a lovely evening.